Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moltrap here, coming at you with another Starcraft 2 commentary. And this is going to be a match between a guy by the name of PredY, or PredY. I'm just going to call him PredY, I guess. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but that's what you get for having a difficult to pronounce or unintuitive to pronounce screen name. And he's going to be going up against DuckloadRa. Yes, DuckloadRa is pronounced white. Of course, DuckloadRa, great Brood War player, has been sponsored personally by Duckload, company over there in Europe. So DuckloadRa is what he goes by now. In any case, by the way, if you're noticing a couple little FPS hiccups, for some reason lately, things have been starting off a little bit shaky and having these little chokes on the FPS. I am going to be getting another hard drive pretty soon here, hopefully, to try and clear some of those issues up. But usually it clears up as the game gets into it, so I apologize if you can't see the probes mining as cool as you would want to, but hopefully it'll clear up before too long. And sometimes if you see a little skip in the gameplay, it's when it does slow down too far, then I pause it and it clears up pretty quickly. So just keep that in mind. I'm trying to make sure that the video quality comes out pretty well. Second of all, I got some shout-outs to make. I have some long overdue shout-outs. First of all, a couple people who donated to me that I've owed them shout-outs for like months, and I completely apologize, because I usually like to do my shout-outs in my Brood War videos, but I've been not doing very many Brood War videos, as some of you have been complaining. I'm going to try and do some more of those pretty soon here, but like I have said before, I'm trying to get out at least one StarCraft 2 commentary every day, so even though I'm dead tired, I actually just woke up from a little bit of a nap after only getting a few hours of sleep last night. I'm going to try and get this StarCraft 2 commentary out to you guys. And this was supposed to be a pretty good game, by the way. It was a recommended replay on GG.net, so I'm hoping it'll be awesome. That other epic game, Dark Force versus Braddock, was from that. It was another recommended replay, so hopefully this one will be just as good. Anyway, so a couple shout-outs here real quick. So Raphael and his old roommates Andrew and Michael, shout out to you guys in Germany. Thank you very much. It's always really cool to hear. Oop, is he gonna get that probe? Is he gonna get the probe? Oh, barely gets picked off. Almost got away. Probes are a little bit faster than Marines, but just did not have the jets. Little jets on the back of these guys, just a little bit too I think they have some kind of a jet, right? Some sort of, yeah, you can see little trails behind him, some kind of propellant. Anyway, SCV's gonna venture over here, by the way, and Stalker's not gonna be out yet, so he is gonna be able to get a scout in with that SCV. In any case, so it's always cool to hear about fans from other countries. I just finally got my Facebook page going, so if you want to add me on Facebook, it's MoltrapSC2 on Facebook. And I was gonna take Moltrap, but some like random farmer in Scotland already has facebook.com/Moltrap, so I had to take MoltrapSC2. So anyway, so it's kind of funny, but you can add me on Facebook if you want. I'll be announcing when I'm streaming and stuff like that, and that'll be anyway. Anyways, I was reminded of that because you know, I put up my Facebook and I immediately got a bunch of people from random countries saying hello. That was really cool. Anyway, so another shout out to I give shout outs to people who donate to me, just because, you know, I want to show my appreciation. That's all I can really give back, unfortunately. And some people do like to hear shout outs. So shout out to Annie and her obsession with Yosemite Sam. So there you go. And also, I do want to just give a random shout out to someone who didn't donate, but someone who I met at the LAN that I went to, the GSL finals party recently going on over in Berkeley, which was really cool. I was live streaming the show matches at 3 in the morning or something like that, to a grand total of 4 viewers on Justin.tv. Expansion going down for DuckloadRa, by the way. We do see PredY has gotten his expansion in the background. He's gotten this reactor, and he's going for the starport with a tech lab next to it on the factory. So we might be seeing a Banshee build here, by the way. I've been trying to click around as I talk about other stuff, and whoa, little lag there. Looks like it's clearing up. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, I've been trying to click around so you guys could at least see what's going on while I'm kind of talking about these other things. But in any case, by the way, it just looks like it's going to turn into a pretty standard build here, pretty normal stuff, and he's actually going to go for Blue Flame Hellion Drop instead. Very interesting. I'm surprised he's actually rallying these to the front instead of keeping them back. Okay, the Hellions are going to be kept back. He's got the medevac rally to the front. I guess that's a good thing to do because then in case there is an attack, it's right next to these Marines if necessary. You can usually get about 3 Hellions out of a single factory before the blue flame finishes. I didn't see if he had that timing down perfectly. And he's just putting down... That's usually if you see a reactor, it means it's going to be some kind of a rush like this because then they're going to be using a lot of minerals. Although usually it means... well, usually it means Banshees because usually they have a lot of extra gas. Hellions don't take a lot of extra gas, actually. And he is loading up these 2 Hellions. That's it? Just 2? Alright, 2's good too. Marines taking over this watchtower to make sure nothing's coming over here. Stalker here. Anyway, so real quick, while this dropship, this medevac rather, makes its way across the south end of the map, I want to give out a shout out to a guy named Ovo. Ovo, so here's a little story from the LAN party that's going to be awesome. Well, actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it in before this dropship lands because this, looks like a stalker. Oh no, that was something else, a probe or something like that. This stalker's clearing out these Marines. He really wants to... Okay, he was going to take his whole army over there if that didn't happen. But anyways, here comes those Hellions. Immediately popping 3 probes. 4 more go down. Oh, he's just lining them up like bowling pins to be knocked down. And, oh my goodness. PredY gets a strike and then a spare to follow up, killing off lots and lots of workers. Look at that, down to 27 workers right now. And PredY is up at 38, so way ahead in economy at this point. Got that extra base up. White-Raw, of course, has his extra base as well, but just lost so many probes. That was ridiculous. Wow. And it was just because, you know, it's funny that pro players still just take their probes and drag them away to the next base, trying to get them away. But the Hellions are faster. They can catch up with them. Observer's going to see exactly what's going on in PredY's base. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. Well, I mean, it did for a moment, but it's going to go down now. Okay, so I got to tell you guys about this story. Another observer's coming in, though, to see what's going on. So this guy named Ovo, so I'm looking over his shoulder, and I look over there, and he's playing Lost Viking, which is the mini game in StarCraft 2. It's like a shmups game. You know, like you got your little ship, you got your little Viking, and he shifts back and forth and shoots up, and other stuff comes down or whatever. And it's a mini game in StarCraft 2, and the gold achievement level in that game, which is one of the achievements for the campaign, got a counter drop here, a couple stalkers and a couple zealots. This could be very interesting. Anyway, Templar Archives coming in as well. So he's playing Lost Viking, and he's at 470,000 points, which is so close to the 500,000 point mark, which is like the ultimate achievement for that. He's moving in here. He's got a lot of... He could go into warp mode or... yeah, what is it called? Phasing mode, and warp in some more units, but he's deciding not to, just to get his warp prism out alive. Actually, he might just pick up the stalkers and the zealot. Nicely done. Stim is not upgraded, so he doesn't have any way of catching that warp prism. Very cool little drop there, actually, and he was able to see with this observer that, the Vikings coming over, though, might try and dispatch this. Ooh, gets a nice shot on that. It did take some damage from those Marines, almost down to its health, still just has a few shields left. Okay, I gotta tell this story, this awesome story. This guy is at 470,000 points, so I look over and I'm like, oh my god, he's about to get the gold achievement. He's about to get the gold achievement. And the guy, like, dies. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, dude. Like, I don't mean to distract you, and I thought I'd be encouraging instead, because I might have been distracting, because I was, you know, talking about it. I'm like, you can do it, man. You can do it. You got this. You got this. And I'm, like, trying to be encouraging and stuff, and he dies again. I'm like, oh my god. I'm so sorry. You can still do this. It's cool. You got this in the bag, man. And he dies again, and it was his last life. And I was like, oh my god. I felt so bad that I came over. Oh, this drop is not very well fated. He's just going to poke in there, sees that there is a bunch of forces there, and is just going to go ahead and leave that area. This SCV's patrolling back and forth to see when White-Raw gets a third base. And it looks like PredY's going to try and take a third base, actually. But there are Templar in the mix now. Psystorm is upgraded, and it looks like the Catharian Amulet is not quite upgraded just yet, but he does have Templar around somewhere. I swear I saw some Templar somewhere warping in. Maybe I was just there as a Templar. There we go. And that's actually a really good spot to warp it in, because then if that medevac comes in here, he can feedback it really quick. Here's those Hellions running around through the front this time. 2 Immortals are not going to have any of that. No, denied. Not doing extra damage, of course, but still, Immortal's doing tons of damage regardless. He's got his army kind of spread out in interesting places. He's got some of it back here, He's got... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this Templar is just waiting for the energy for a Psystorm. All these SCVs were clumped up. And... Psystorm! There we go. Nice. The SCVs escape. He's going to bring a Stalker over here just to be extra annoying. And also just pick off SCVs with low health, basically. Wow, PredY has a lot of Hellions actually out in the front. It looks like... What was this? Warp Prism is going around the back. He's got a couple Templar in it. It looks like I may have missed another drop because this Templar is damaged. But maybe not. He might actually just be going in for the attack now. There's a lot of SCVs clumped up here. He drops them out. Double Storm! Oh, absolute massacre. Absolute massacre of SCVs. Morphs into an Archon. 18 kills on that sucker. It's going to wipe up a couple Hellions too. 19 kills before it dies. And Warp Prism might even just warp in some Templar in the back there. These Hellions are trying to pick off probes. Doesn't look like there's too many kills on these guys just yet. A few kills. Looks like they might have caught a few probes while that storm drop was going on. Warp Prism going into warp mode. Phasing mode, rather. Warps in a couple Zealots. He doesn't have the Kadarian amulets yet, so he can't just warp in Templar with a storm ready. And these Hellions are still somehow dodging this huge army and running around. This Immortal at the top of the hill, though, again, shutting them down. Anyway, wow, these Zealots are really going to work. It looks like he might have actually gotten the Kadarian amulet after all, actually, come to think of it, because he just warped in this Templar and it does have enough. He's going to pick them up and try and get them out of the way now that there's some Hellions there to take care of that, but it looks like he's going to lose it. He's going to be able to drop it out in time. Gets one out. Not too bad. Storms those Hellions. Gets one of them. Not bad at all. PredY has got a planetary fortress, a crap ton of siege tanks and medevacs and marines to defend this high wall, and that is why, because that Templar could have easily done some damage if there was SCVs over there without any defenses. Anyway, alright, I gotta get back to the story. This story is epic, because this guy is like the most nicest Starcraft gamer ever. Hellions going around both sides here. He leaves a couple to take care of these probes, and a few to come up here and roast these probes. Not a whole lot to harvest, however, up here, and loses these down here. Not a terrible amount of damage. Let's actually check that out. Yeah, he's been keeping up with his probes. He hasn't lost any more, and he's been killing SCVs, so DuckloadRa has actually taken the lead as far as the income goes. Alright, so I gotta finish the story. Just gotta get done. So he's at 470,000. He loses. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I expect this guy to like turn around and punch me in the face because I just distracted him from getting this gold achievement that, you know, if you're good at those kind of games, it can be easy. It's not the hardest of shmups games, but if you've been trying and I saw his top score was his current score, which means that was the first time he'd gotten that far. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I like threw off your mojo. Nice storm drop. Looks like he dodged the SCVs out of the way for the most part in time. Couple kills on those Templar, but nothing too serious. So the guy stands up, and he turns around. I'm like expecting him to like kill me, and he like gives me a hug. How awesome is that? That guy was so manner that he like, I just screwed up his major achievement that he was probably working for hours to get. It takes a half an hour just of playing just to even get to that point. Cleaning up a few more probes. White Rock remains in the lead with Econ though, and this guy turns around and gives me a hug. I'm like, I'm so sorry, man. And here's the topper. He doesn't just give me a hug. He pops open a beer and gives it to me. I'm like, no, that's okay, man. You don't need to. He gives me a beer anyways. Totally manner. Nice drop is set up here. It's got some Hellions in it. He's got some tanks in it. Got some Marines in it. He's going to own the crap out of this base. Comsec going on to see what defenses there are. There are none. There's a lot of units down here. A crap ton of Immortals. Really good anti-army to what he's got. But they're going to have to get all the way up here. It runs his probes, most of them at least. It's going to lose a few. Warps in some Stalkers, which are going to die immediately without even getting a chance to move out here. Nice little army. He's got Hellions for anything light. He's got Marines for DPS. He's got a couple tanks for the range. But here comes the main army. Guardian Shield. Actually, the tanks targeting the Stalkers, but they got Blink now. Blinking in. He tries to get away with the Marines. He might lose. Is he going to lose that last medevac? He's going to blink over. He blinks over, picks off the last medevac. Nicely done. It looks like some Stalkers in the meantime were harassing down here at the exact same time. By the way, you guys, I always think it's a little bit funny when people complain that I miss stuff when there's like 3 things going on at the same time in different parts of the map. I cannot physically be here and here at the same time. I do not have the time or the technology to have like multiple feeds going or whatever like some of the other casters do. I apologize. So yes, I know something was going on, but it's hard to really look at 2 places at once. Anyway, PredY is now mining at this base. He kept it secure for the most part, and he's gotten this base up. He's going to go ahead and morph another orbital over here, actually. That's interesting. Feels secure enough. He can get an orbital. Huge, nice army for WhiteRa walking around in the middle map. That is 5 immortals. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. He's got Blink Stalkers as well. This is a tank-killing army, and PredY has a lot of tanks here. He's got, he's gonna actually go in for the kill. This might not be good though. He's got a tank-killing army, but he's like half the supply. Here comes some Templars storming those Marines, and Hellions softening them up very greatly. And if he was able to maybe blink in those Stalkers, that might be pretty good. Although point defense drone down now is going to make those Stalkers far less effective if they choose to attack this point until it runs out, which they've got a lot of energy on them. In any case, I like this sensor tower somewhere around here. I don't even see where it is, but there's a sensor tower over here somewhere. He's actually going to go in while he's unsieged. He needs to blink in so he can get close up when they siege. No, he's just going to fall back. Again, just too low on army count. I don't know where his army is. Some more Templar coming in here. He needs to get some good storms off on those tanks, but tanks are just so good against Templar, actually, because they can pick them off before they get anywhere nearby. Switching over into Colossus now after the Templar. So very, very nice tech switch there. He's going to get 3 Colossus out. Here's the thing, though. Colossus not really the best bet against tanks. You know, tanks are one of the few units with a longer range than Thermal Lance. Colossus, look how far those guys go, picking off way over there. Anyway, but he does have the high ground advantage, sort of. Gonna go in here after all. Charge lots in as well. Splitting up his army. Storm's going down nice. Well, actually, not the best storm because he didn't really get a lot of units. He's kind of missing on these storms, not getting the tanks like he needs to, and as a result, loses his entire army on this siege line. And there's just too many tanks. I mean, Immortals are good against tanks, but not that many tanks. I mean, and he had other stuff to support it as well. So PredY taking a commanding lead. A 187 supply. There's that sensor tower. It looks like it's gonna get picked off by those. What happened to those Stalkers? There they go. It's like, what happened there? Not gonna get picked off after all. Is the sensor tower gonna burn down? It looks like it might burn down. Boom. No more little white circle on the map. And I think he knows that this is here, and he knows that these Stalkers are attacking the rocks. He almost decided to run back and defend it. Maybe he's gonna send just a couple siege tanks up here, and that's really all he needs with just this kind of group of Stalkers. Although with Blink, they can get pretty close to those siege tanks very quickly. He's gonna siege up in the back. He's got 3 tanks now. They can't quite blink just on top of those tanks. The tanks are spread out as well. So he's gonna get harassed here. This isn't a huge thing though. Ghost Academy is out now. More Stalkers reinforcing, and Hellions coming in just because that's all he has really. And he might even be able to, yeah, he blinks in and snipes 1 tank, snipes another tank, forcing PredY to bring back his whole army here just with a series of Stalkers, and he's going to be able to escape with those as well. He's just taking out depots, taking out the Ghost Academy, so well, he wasn't taking it out. Oh, if he can get that, if he can get the army, that'd be huge. If he can charge down that armory, it's almost dead. It's upgrading vehicle plating, it's not anymore. And that was the end of that army. And it looks like a few Stalkers are actually going to run out the front. It's always kind of funny to me to see enemy units running out of the front of the enemy base. Another armory going down in the back. And again, with major amounts of Colossus coming on over here to just absolutely own. Let's actually jump back for just a moment and see how many SCVs they got there. Yeah, 5 Colossus, 6 Colossus running in. There's only a single siege tank, which can't quite reach them until they get to that very edge of the ledge. And they are going to try and pick off that planetary fortress. They do outrange planetary fortresses. He's going in close enough to get that siege tank. Planetary fortress under major attack. SCV is on the opposite side of it trying to repair it, but it's not quite enough. The DPS on those Colossi doing way too much damage too quickly. Tanks are going to come in here and might be able to pick these off, and I think these Colossus are going to have to walk down the cliff away from these siege tanks on the high ground in order to escape there. He really needs a support army. He's just got, let's actually check on the units. He's got 7 Colossi and 5 Stalkers. That's it. That's all he's got. He gets some more stalkers here. But these Colossi are all he has. Oh no, and he blinks his stalkers up to the high ground so they can't protect these. He didn't need to wait for another blink if he's going to protect against those Vikings. Wow. He does have a ton of Colossus though. And that's going to be pretty good, especially if you can do some more harassment against worker units or anything like that. You might want to consider, well, I mean, actually, let's just check. Yeah, he's still got a pretty good income, so it's interesting that White-Ra is just going for this strange sort of unit mix without really a support army for the Colossi. PredY engaging with his tanks in the middle, though, without sieging them up, takes out a couple of Colossi, might take out another. Looks like he's taken out 3 or 4 Colossi so far. Stalker's blinking in here as well. Or not necessarily blinking, but here he comes out with some tanks. And why does he just keep engaging without siege mode? Siege mode is going to own those Colossi because they can get extra hits in before they get close enough. Not to mention the Vikings. He could have just kited all day with the Vikings. But he needed to get out to deal with these Stalkers attacking his base as well. And he's actually doing pretty well against these tanks. I'm going to check the upgrades. It looks like actually PredY is doing a lot better with the upgrades. He's got +3 weapons compared to just, well, +3 weapons on those as well. Only the +1 armor, though, on those Protoss units. So that's going to favor the Terran siege tanks a little bit more with their massive DPS. And this expansion is not long for this world. Observer flying around, seeing what it can see. Morphing another orbital up here. That is crazy. He is feeling so secure he needs another orbital. Well, actually, he's not feeling secure. He's feeling behind. He's only got 54 harvesters. He desperately needs those mules, actually, at this point to keep himself anywhere close as far as mining goes, because White-Ra has 84 probes around the map. He's got good saturation here in the last few patches. This one is pretty full, actually overly full. This one could use a few more, as a matter of fact. He's trying to get up another base to actually make use of his probes, because what am I hearing? I guess I'm just hearing siege tanks unsieging there. Yeah, he actually needs another base to make use of all of his probes, because it's way too many probes here, and he could easily be making more use of them somewhere else in another base. So anyway, nice little push coming up here on the side. He's got some Stalkers. Stalker's so mobile. He can just run in. He can blink around. Dark Shrine is being warped in, by the way. I like that. That's a good move. We saw Raven earlier, but it's been dispatched since then. Although, well, actually, he's got so many orbital commands it won't really even matter. Picking off more depots in the back here. PredY is actually might have a little trouble with dealing with this. He's just going to counterattack, running in with some Hellions. That's not really the best to combat these. Oh, Templar warps in, but gets picked off before it can cast that storm. That would have been huge if he had been able to storm these. Does take out those cannons. I know he's going to own that Nexus pretty badly, and this is just horrible. He comsats up here to see what defenses there are. There's a couple Templar. He needs to be careful. He needs to be careful of those Templar. Templar could easily do some major damage. He can also feed back the Raven that's in the mix. Wow, and he's just actually letting White-Ra clear out his main, and he's not even really using these forces to try and take that out or defend it. He could move them up here theoretically. He's just macroing up. More Zealots running into the front here, killing tons of SCVs. We're just seeing a straight base trade here. PredY is just going all in with this base trade, although this is the only place White-Ra is mining right now. He is not mining at all. So neither player is mining at all as of this moment. Actually, no, White-Ra does. Well, no, he's got this base warping in, but it's not being used yet. Oh, he needs to lift that orbital. Lift it, lift it, lift it. He's got so much going around the map that though he does actually lift it in time, but it's cut 3 hit points, so it's going to burn down in midair anyway. And here's that army still burning its way through, and he's actually going to get attacked by both of those harassing armies from both sides. Actually, just the one. Mostly just these Stalkers, but it's going to be more than enough. Tons of tanks, a few Hellions, and a few Vikings as well. Where did that... Oh, it looks like the Raven went down at some point. So this Dark Templar is picking away, and he actually doesn't have any... there he goes. He lands it. He needs to scan. He needs to scan, get rid of that DT. There goes the DT. The Colossus goes down as well to this massive amount of siege tanks, fully upgraded. These guys are doing 34 damage a second to armored units, 21 normal, and or per shot rather, doing tons of damage. Siege tanks have huge DPS, and they're just tearing through buildings like nobody's business. He just has this one orbital over here. This is all he has left, though. I don't know if he even has any SCVs on the map. No SCVs at all. He's just got this one orbital. This one orbital and this one Nexus are the only things that each player has in the game to come back in this game if they get the rest of their stuff eliminated. Oh man, all 3 Robos taken out, but he doesn't have any money anyways. Neither player has any income. whiterra actually has a little bit of an income here. Army tab favoring whiterra a little bit, but again, if he could just take out this orbital, then that would be huge. Although, again, not really doing that much in the first place right now. It's going to come down to, I mean, both players have taken out all of each other's buildings, essentially. Pretty much everything. And it's just going to come down to one final battle between the armies. And I think, even though he's got more supply, I think whiterra's going to lose the battle because that is just a massive amount of siege tanks. It's going to depend on where they engage. Zealot has found this orbital command. He's going to have to hide that orbital for now. Until he can clear something out. And that orbital is ace in the hole, where if he does get into a situation where neither player has anything, then, you know, it's... Oh, no! Oh, Dark Templar! He got one more DT out! He's got one more DT out! He's got the orbital command over here, so he can try and land it and scan, but I don't know if he's gonna let him land it. He might not. He's gonna put a stalker over here, so he can't land the orbital command. This one Dark Templar may win the game just because he didn't lose. He lost his Raven. Here comes another attack, though, storming all the tanks. I didn't realize he had so many Templar storms going down on everything. Massive amounts of storms. And PredY GG's and leaves the game. Beautiful, beautiful finish by whiterra. He actually did land that orbital command, was able to get a scan off after all, but it was far too late. I only thought whiterra had some stalkers and a few zealots. I didn't realize he had these Templar in his army. And wow, they had a ton of storms saved up. Without that Raven, the Dark Templar was able to assault those siege tanks and force them into a bad position. Maybe if these siege tanks had been able to spread out and get into a good position, he would have been able to battle that army a little bit better. But didn't happen, so whiterra takes the game. An epic game again. Thanks very, very much for watching. GG, hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you guys, if you happen to be watching, you're not a subscriber of mine, I do put out commentaries pretty much every day, so go ahead and go subscribe for some more StarCraft 2 action. Again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. GG, and shout out to the most well-mannered StarCraft 2 player on Earth, Ovo. Awesome guy. And everyone else that was at that LAN, actually. That was totally awesome to see everyone there hang out, watch the GSL finals with like-minded individuals. All right. Take care. GG. And actually, one little final note before I do finally end this video. Even though I kind of poked a little bit at people who are making fun of me for missing stuff around the map, I do want to reemphasize, though, that I am really, really trying these days to try and improve my commentary. I'm trying to, you know, remove my ums and uhs that everyone hates. I'm trying to keep my eyes on the map more. So I do appreciate feedback. I just want to let you know that even though some people are kind of jerks about it, I do appreciate legitimate feedback, so feel free to let me know what you want to see more of in my commentaries or less of or anything like that, and I do actually read most of those comments and take it to heart. So anyway, that's it. All right, finally, the end of the video.